Welcome back to another week of Cod Tales Podcast, and on this week it is Cod Opening, our favourite time of the year, and probably why this podcast is called the name it is.
Amen. Let's go.
Mate, so what are we talking about this week?
Mate, we've got some absolute mind-boggling stories of some giant Murray cod up to 250 pound. The old school stories we're all here to hear about.
The proper long lines.
Well and truly, as well as a Murray cod comp running through New South Wales this year. We'll run through that with you.
Murray cod megabucks.
That's it.
Get on it. We get to talk about a couple of cool stories that we've, or how we've caught cod over the years. You know, just a bit of a rev up to get you excited for cod opening.
As well as dipping into a few water management ideas and what we think about it.
Yeah, and don't take this for gospel. We are absolute dickheads, and that's why CAB stands for a couple of dickheads. We have no idea what we're talking about with the environment, but we're going to put our 2 cents in anyway. All right, this episode, I'm so fucking excited for it because you know what time of year it is, boys?
It's cod season, lads.
It is fucking cod opening, and we are ecstatic. So we've got so much shit ready to go for you guys to listen to. We've got a couple of videos coming up on the social medias for you. Have a listen, have a look, and soak it all in.
I mean, yeah, we're going to probably do a few Q&As as well.
Yep. So for Cod Opening, we're hoping to get on Facebook, do a live Q&A, which will be on the night before this. And, you know, have a talk about how we're rigging this year, what we're throwing.
The do's and don'ts.
Do's and don'ts. And fuck me, do I have some don'ts in front of me.
I can't wait to show everyone this. This is a Capsus 9-inch that Dane's rigged up.
Look, it was rigged, and I brought this out specifically. I rigged it up a couple of years ago, and it is rough, like proper rough rigging. So I rigged up a BWA Capsus 7. 7?
That's a 9.
Shit, that's a 9-inch.
That's what you tell missus.
Yeah. So I rigged up a BWA Capsus 9-inch a couple of years ago with the front treb and then a rear pull-away treb. And if you look at the loops I've tied on this rear pull-away treb, I'm not so sure that a cod's going to fucking hold on.
I've only ever seen 3 twists in a pretzel, and I still reckon it's got more twists.
Oh,
it's
mate,
no good.
Stop being so harsh on me. I reckon you do all right. And then you can. I've got another BWA Capsus doing the exact same rigging method, and Aaron did it. It's a little bit better. But anyway, stay tuned. We'll post a video up after we do the Q&A anyway, so you can tune in all the goodness of what we are rigging up this year, and go from there. Anyway, Az, you told me a pretty fucking interesting story this week about someone in the Macquarie down near Walgett.
Down near Walgett in the Macquarie.
Yeah.
Had a long river, that bastard.
In Walgett?
Walgett, the Macquarie River.
Yeah. In it?
Nah.
Oh, shit.
Every day.
I put my fucking foot in it already.
Is this the one? You talking about Warren?
Might be Warren.
Yeah.
You know, I get me look, I'm a little bit backwards. I get me fucking names mixed up every now and then.
You get that in the big jobs.
Was it Warren?
Mm-hmm.
My
sure
bad.
was. Sorry, I was taking a mouthful then.
It was Warren.
Yeah. This was one of them ones that give me shivers up my spine every time I think about it.
A little bit of tingles. Yeah, as soon as you started talking about it, I started to get tingles. And I was like, well, what the fuck are you talking about? Anyway, hit us with it, son.
So I had a fella come into work and, absolute loved his cod fishing. And this was back when we went into the real bad drought. So a lot of the bottom end of the Macquarie was dry. There was only pools. There was a lot of fish rescues, stuff like that.
A lot of times you can walk across the Macquarie without even getting your ankles wet.
Yeah, it was horrible.
It was a sad time, really a sad time.
And he was speaking to me about a skull and spine that he found in the Macquarie. And it was one of those ones where, like, right, it's a long one straight off the bat. Let's go. Well, no, that wasn't the case because he backed it up with photos, and I shit you not, I had goosebumps standing on goosebumps.
And the worst thing is, this fella never got these fucking photos or videos of him.
Nah.
Which I am very upset about. So next time you see him in that shop, he's definitely going to get him. And we're
I'm going to
post
get
him up.
Yeah, I know exactly what it looks like. It was next level. Like it, in all honesty, mate, it was probably, this is going off video, I reckon it was at least 6 foot long.
Yeah, I'm listening.
That was the length of the spine with the skull, so it is pretty lengthy. But the skull is the part that gets me. Is it had the bone structure and the features of a cod head.
Yeah, so like, right teeth, right jaw structure, eyes in the same place, spines, all that sort of stuff.
You could see the bottom jaw where
it had the pits in the the jawbone and everything underneath.
Well and truly, yep. It had the eye pivots. It had the nostril snouts. Like, I was like...
Nostril
snouts. There's the first stroke of the day.
Yeah, look, we're a few deep so far, so stay tuned with us.
Yeah, it was absolutely mind-blowing because if I didn't know what it was and didn't see the spine, I would say, yeah, it's a cod head, dried out in an ant's nest and whatnot.
There you go. Yeah.
And, yeah, he found it in the middle of the river. And he was actually driving down the river looking for pools. And when he stumbled across that, and... I remember saying to him, like, can it be a snake? Can it be... And I'm like, oh, shit, I've never seen shit like that being...
Like, how wide of a skull... Like, obviously, it's a video. Videos are so deceiving.
It is hard, yeah.
Yeah. How wide of a skull do you reckon it was?
Oh, mate, I'd guess it probably 1.5 feet wide, at least. Yeah. That's a big fish.
Far, yeah.
Big fish.
Far, yeah.
Like, I've never personally seen a fish skull that big.
I've never seen a fish that big.
Yeah, so like...
Oh, Murray cod at least.
I do have me doubts and do's about it, but I honestly can't explain it with anything else. I've got to put it down to it was a cod.
Yeah.
And being that
like,
big.
you obviously saw the skull, you saw the spine. Was there any, like, ribs or telltale signs that it was a fish?
There was nothing. There was nothing but a spine and the skull.
Head.
Yeah.
That is scary to think
But you know
about.
when... You see a cod's head dried out or whatnot, a dead one.
Yeah.
And you can see the teeth row.
Yeah.
That was still in the skull. And there's no snake to me that's got teeth row. They're all...
With the crush plates on the front and then the top.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, gives me the shivers.
Mate, I'm excited for you to track this fella down and get a photo and video off it.
Yeah.
Do you remember his name or anything like that? Can we try and do a shout out to him?
I wish I could. I know he lives in Warren.
Old
and
bud
if anyone
from Warren,
knows his story,
please come give us a photo or a video or something because I want to see it. I want to put it up. I want to see what other people's reactions are to it because he's got the goosebumps already just talking about it. I can see his arms.
I do. It's freaky. Like now, every time you think about it, you're like, I'm not going for a swim anymore.
Well, we have talked about old bud being pulled under by a cod after a skiing incident.
Yeah.
In a previous episode. But in your personal opinion, like everyone's heard the fucking stories of these cod being, you know, almost 2 meters long and fucking 300 pounds and whatever.
Yeah.
But in your personal opinion, what size cod you reckon is around today? I've seen Cod Mac. I've seen a photo from Cod Mac and it was $1, almost $1.50.
Yeah, I think that's...
And it looked like a bloody dinosaur.
Yeah. I reckon there's definitely 100-pounders still there.
Yeah, okay.
I definitely believe in that, well and truly. But, yeah, it's how far do you stretch?
Stretch that long line as far as you can, boys.
But then you can't, like we've obviously had things happen to us and seen things on the river that no one else, you just cannot explain it. And, I guarantee there's creatures out there that, especially in cod, like there's some there's some proper big ones that no one knows about.
And they're wise old creatures. What, they get up to about 70 years, 80 years or something. They've seen everything.
Yeah, they don't get that big for no reason.
Yeah, they know what's going
smart.
on.
Yeah.
The stuff I've seen on sounders, you know, they can get monstrous, especially bigger than what people are catching, I think.
And that's one thing about live scope technology is it's amazing how fast these animals can move that are 80, 90 pound.
Yeah.
Like these things can move.
When you're talking about a tail that's, you know, a foot across.
Yeah, moves a lot of water.
One beat of that tail and it's moving a shit ton of water. It's getting out of there. But even thinking about it, you were talking about during this week, all over the last week, the 140-pound cod that's at Swan Hill up on the wall in one of the pubs. Swan Hill pub or whatever it is, yeah.
Yeah, so my mum and dad, they went tripping around and done all that area in the old caravan, which was pretty cool. And
what, recently or?
Yeah, it was, a week and a half ago.
Oh, right, there you go.
Yeah, and I got a photo of the old man, and it's a photo of a 140-pound cod on the wall. And I was like, holy shit. And there's a little plaque under it. And this plaque, it says, weight of 140 pounds of a Murray cod donated by the National Museum of Victoria.
Right. So this thing is that big, it's made it in the National Museum.
Yep.
And it's up on one of the Swan Hill pubs walls.
Yeah, I think it's
not the actual fish, it's a replica or something.
Yeah, it's a replica.
Yeah. So what they think it would have been size-wise and whatever else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
And it looks like, to me, like it looks long, but it looks pretty streamlined for 140 pounds.
I would have thought the opposite, eh? It's a very barrel-y fish.
Oh, it's a barrel. It is definitely a barrel, and we'll post this photo up so you guys can see yourself. It is a barrel of a cod. If I call it that, you know what?
Oh, you'd sell your fishing gear tomorrow. Give up.
Yeah, that's right. You're never going to beat it. But I've seen shorter fish with fatter guts.
Oh, well and truly.
So it's like, if you can get a fish that long with fatter guts, it's going to be way a fair bit more.
Yeah.
And as we all do, we all go off length now, not off weight. But how far can you stretch that? Because you've done a little bit of digging after hearing about this 140-pound cod.
I did, yeah. I read a lot of articles and stories on how, and just like pretty much what we do with the stories and tales that come along with cod.
Couple of long lines cracking out.
And there is some just mythical creatures that are. Some don't have evidence, some do, and
And that's where the lines start to get blurred, because you always get these stories of, my mate caught this, my uncle caught this, I've seen this, blah, blah, blah. But without the evidence back it up, it's hard to prove.
Oh, that's right. And back then, when a lot of these fish were caught, there was no such thing as cameras. There's no social media.
Yeah, so you're talking about, I think the fish you're talking about is from the 1940s.
Yeah, so there's two of them. There was a 250-pound Murray cod back in 1857. That was the earliest one. Yeah. And
that's right. How reliable do you reckon that is?
Yeah, well, so this is an article from a fellow called Will Truman.
Okay. Who's he writing from?
He's well known for historical fish research and writing.
Cool.
So he's right into his stuff.
Yeah, knows his stuff. He does his research and creates a bit of a story out of it.
Yeah, and this is probably where you got the Walgett thing on hand.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, this is, I'm getting mixed up between Walgett and Warren. Yeah, they're both W's,
Yeah, that's right. So there was a report of a fish caught out at Walgett, which was weighing 250 pounds. That was also a pet and was towed to a barge to be weighed.
That is nuts.
250
is that the 1857? That's what they're saying where it's from?
That was time also period? A 1914.
1914.
Yeah. Yeah, 1914. As well as another 250-pound fish in the 1857 from the Murray River. So that 250-pound comes up a lot in a lot of stuff you read.
So what is 250 pounds? It's like 100
be about 130 odd kilo, I think.
No, it wouldn't be that much, surely.
2.2 kilo, 2.2 pound to a kilo.
Yeah, so
Quick math.
I'll just do 250 divided by 2.2. 112, about 113, 113 kilos.
And here we are chasing a 100-pounder.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, yeah.
I remember, actually, speaking about that, I remember pulling up, we were fishing one of the local water holes and we were leaving and there was a bloke stuck down with a old bat flattery.
Yep.
He called me over and talking fishing while I'm hooking up to his battery and giving him a jump start. And he's like, "Oh, how'd you do today?" We're like, "Oh, we got a couple of 80s." He's like, 80 pounders. I was like, "Sorry, mate. No, we measure in centimetres now.
Yeah.
Sorry." He's like, "Oh, right. Yeah, no, that's all right then, isn't it?" It's like, "Oh, fuck, mate. Diminish my fucking day's work. Thank you."
Like, you can imagine the fish they seen that back then too. Like,
Yeah, he was an old fella and he said, "Oh, yeah, I remember stringing up cod that was fucking 100-pound." I was like,
Yeah.
I
like
don't
the amount of photos I saw.
I mean, good on you. I don't like the whole stringing up thing, but whatever.
Back then it was feed yourself. Like, yeah.
Ah, that's right. And that's what they were doing back then. Like, everything they caught went through a fucking bandsaw and into the freezer.
That's
It
right.
was feeding the family. It was more focused on feeding the family than actually treating it as a sport,
Yep.
which we do now. I'd never eat a cod now.
And here's one from the Murrumbidgee. The old famous Murrumbidgee, the river that runs upside down. It was near Hay in 1913.
Yeah.
That weighed 200 pounds, but once
200
again,
pounds.
lacks evidence. There was no photos of this one, so yeah, it's just a story.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
that's what we're here for.
But how fun of a story is it just to think about a fish that bloody big? That's literally like, your 95 kilo, 100 kilo mark.
And
Unreal.
like this Will, he speaks about there's several reports of Murray cod in the excess of 225 pound.
Yeah.
But however, verified sizes of that species is very lacked.
Yeah, that's right. It's like, how do you prove a fish ever got that big?
And that's right. And when you go back to those ages where these fish were, once again, you got no cameras, you got no social media. It was go to the pub and tell your mate you caught a fucking 220 pounder and go,
And the story continues from there.
That's right. You might have caught a 150 and by the time it got to us 100 years later.
It's 250 pounds.
Exactly right.
Just like every other bloke in the pub. Yeah, nah, I caught an 83 on the weekend. But by the time you hear it was $1.18.
Yeah.
Still got 8 in the number and you're like, oh, no, it's fucking believable.
Yeah. So it is. I really like his read. Like, I'd tell anyone too, if you just look him up,
Go
Will
have a
Truman.
look. Go have a listen. Go have a read.
Really good stories as
Yeah.
well. And done a lot with the fisheries. So.
Yeah. Well, like thinking about it, I worked in a pet store for about 5 years and Bob's Pet and Fish and Dubbo, God bless you, Ian and Dione, treated me well while the time I was there. And they have this cod head hanging up out. You walk out the back of the pet store and right above you there's this cod head on a plaque. And it is massive. Like I could almost fit my head in this bloody cod head. And for years I was convinced it was a Murray cod.
Yeah.
Talking to Ian about it, and I said, "Mate, is that actually a Murray cod, or what is it?" He said, "No, it's an estuary cod." It's like, right. He said, "Go upstairs and have a look on the back of the plaque." And on the back of the plaque, there's this photo, guy standing next to it, and this fish is probably 6-7 foot long, and a couple 200 pounds or something. I can't remember. It's ginormous. Anyway, what they'd done is they'd got a boat winch with the old steel cable, got a shark hook and put a cow heart on it. Put it into the estuary, winched this thing in after it had taken the bait, and yeah, that's the story of that.
That's the next level, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's legit. Like, you can see the photo, you can see the size of it, but it's an estuary cod. But from the age and the dust, everything gathered on this plaque and this cod head, you'd think it would have been a Murray cod.
Yeah.
And if you do, go down to Bob's Pet, say, hey, have a look at this cod head. It is amazing. Don't know if it's still there, but it was there during the time I was there.
Yeah. There used to be a cracking head at North Burke Pub as well.
Yeah?
Yeah, really good cod head. Oh, it's been ages since I've seen it now, but yeah, it was a monster.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen that one, but
Yeah,
unreal.
it used to be right above the bar.
As it would be. Where else would it be, mate? I mean, talking about these huge cod in the river system that we call home, and then you hear about the latest environmental crisis that have hit us. And it is so devastating to think that even though you think some of these cod sizes are a bit of a long line, a bit of a tail, and then we've come to today where nothing even comes close.
No.
Yeah.
Like
And-
a 70, 80 pound fish is enormous.
Yeah, everyone. That's what people are chasing now, not these mythical 200-pound pluses. And Rod McKenzie, God bless him, he's brought this up so much about the mismanagement about the Murray-Darling system.
Yeah.
And he is such an advocate for it because he's such a cod lover, fish lover.
Yep.
Like, he wants to do everything possible to treat them right. And then I was only reading this story today about the environmental crisis that's Murray cod are experiencing in the Lower Darling. So pretty much we're talking about, 100 years ago, they're catching 200 pound out of the Lower Darling.
Yep.
And now they're talking about the Murray cod have virtually disappeared from the Lower Darling. And they're talking about the Menindee Lakes area in particular.
Yep.
So I'll just read this little excerpt that I've found from The Guardian. And said, Murray cod, a native fish classified as a vulnerable species, has virtually disappeared from New South Wales' Lower Darling, pointing to environmental crisis following from the 2019 and 2023 fish kills in this part of the river. The survey by New South Wales Fisheries, undertaken in May this year, has revealed the scale of the impact on fish populations, showing attempts at repopulating a river after 2018-2019 drought appeared to have failed. And that's fucking heartbreaking just to read it out.
Yeah, that hurts.
The survey was undertaken after a major blackwater event in March that killed millions of fish, mainly bony herring, but also perch and Murray cod. It found that numbers of Murray cod were sustainably lower when compared with the preceding years. No cod were captured at sites upstream from Weir 32, the top of the Menindee Lake system, although reports have noted from anglers in this system from capturing some cod in that part of the river.
Yeah, right. Yep.
They were captured in low abundance in the 200 k's of the river downstream between Menindee and Pooncarie, and all were below 500 mil, which is pretty much a sub-adult.
Yep.
Adult Murray cod can grow well over a metre long and live for 70 years. During the drought of 2019, large fish were left gasping for breath in shallow pools after the Lower Darling ceased to flow for more than 8 months.
Yeah,
Hundreds of thousands of fish died during this hot weather event.
Yep.
A bigger fish kill event followed in March this year.
Yeah, it did. Yep.
That is fucking heartbreaking to read. I don't even want to continue on with that. That's just...
Yeah.
It's
Like,
all... Like, and
did you ever see any of the Blackwater photos and what was happening down there?
I even got sent a photo from someone down in South Australia where the Blackwater was entering the sea. Did you see that?
Oh, I think I did. And they were pushing, it pushed carp out into
The
sea.
sea.
Yeah.
For kilometres and kilometres and kilometres, there was this Blackwater. After the drought, all the rain came over the top, washed all the crap into the river,
Yeah.
and washed it out to sea, killing fish. And there was huge floods. We've had huge floods in the Murray-Darling system over the last couple of years.
Yeah, last 2 or 3 years been big.
Yeah, and it flushed that much fresh water into the saltwater system out of the river. It was just unlivable for salt or freshwater species.
Yeah, yeah.
It was
just a
nuts.
bad event.
Absolutely nuts. It's just like how is this a natural cycle, or is this something that we could have helped?
Yeah. And like I might be treading in a bit of water here, but
I mean, we're all mentioning this shit and like, fuck it, this deep. I love this river systems. I want to see it flourish more than anything, but
Like the Macquarie, it had a Blackwater event around the same time.
We did. Yeah, that wasn't too long ago. That wasn't this year. That wasn't this year.
Ago? 2 years ago. Something like that.
I was trying to think. Yeah, you and I were down at the local weir, and you know what? This is illegal to say. I don't give a fuck. But we were there with nets pulling out fucking carp, dying carp out of the weir.
Yeah, it was choking the system up. And like it was...
Yabbies crawling out of the water, carp gasping for air, silvers, yellows gasping for air.
The one that got me was, for any of our listeners that don't know the Macquarie, obviously the catfish is an endangered species in our waterway.
Yep.
The amount of catfish I seen in that river once that Blackwater event come through was astonishing. There was I could get handfuls of baby catfish that were just gasping for air on the edge. And it was kind of swept under the rug a little bit. Like you never heard of it.
It wasn't as advertised as I thought it was going to be. Because I thought people would be down there taking photos, putting it up. But I don't, like, it breaks my heart, but I don't think people gave a shit.
Yeah, it did suck. There wasn't much on it at all, which it was a pretty quick Blackwater event. It only hit maybe 50k stretch of the river.
Yeah, that's right. And it was pretty much, downstream from the wall, and...
It made it nearly pretty much to North Dubbo.
Yeah, almost to Narromine.
Yeah.
Because I remember we're on the river here on the property, and it wasn't too much here. There was a little bit out at Rawsonville, Dickagundy area. There was a few dead out
plenty
there.
Yep.
But by the time we got to Narromine, thankfully, it sort of petered out a bit.
It did, yeah. So, look, a bit scary seeing all that Blackwater event, but I'll tell you what, go on the brighter side of things.
Yeah, bloody oath. I mean...
After that event, we had one of the best things, and I've spoke about this before, one of the best things that happened to our waterway was the mice plague.
Yes, that's right. So even though you've got this devastating Blackwater event, had the mice come back through and feed them back up.
And mate,
we've touched this on this plenty of times.
Yeah, and because it was like in my whole life of chasing these speckled things that I'd never seen cod so fat for their size and like spewing mice up and stuff like that.
That's right. Get them to the boat, spewing tent. You made it to the local news, I remember, actually.
Oh, dude, they put me on the news for that.
Catching a little, it was like 60 centimetre, spewing up 10 bloody mice into your net. And
mind you, a 60 centimetre fish would have been 10 pound when they were eating them.
Oh.
They were fucking huge.
Yeah, even just before cod closed this year, we went out and you caught a 70-something. He was spewing up mice.
Yeah, and I thought, they're coming back.
They're coming back.
As much as I feel for the poor farmers and stuff like that.
It's total
there
shit.
honestly couldn't have been a better event for our waterway.
Yeah.
And I was kind of a bit nervous because I remember him talking about baiting all the mice. And I was like, well, the fish are feeding up. But
that's the one thing I've always wondered. It's like, I know that, mouse baits and that sort of stuff, they harm dogs, they harm cats, they harm whatever you got on your farm or around and in town too. I'm not just saying on farms, but does that harm fish? Like, is that the same sort of thing that would make a fish crook?
Well,
it doesn't seem to have been, and there were any mice that got into the water that made fish crook. We haven't seen it.
Well, I think it was Channel 9 that actually asked me that in an interview about it.
Yeah.
Because they asked me about whatever bait they called it that everyone was fighting to get. All the farmers were fighting to get it because it was the best of the best. And they said, what's your opinion on it? And I was straight up. I was thinking of me cod. I was like, well, if it harms all these fish, has it been tested on fish in indigestion?
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, no, it hasn't. I said, well, you would not believe the amount of fish that are eating mice at the moment.
Yeah, that's right.
That's got to be one thing looked into.
Yeah.
I said, to be honest, it's probably one of the top predators for mice at the moment.
It would be, 100%. Like, between the snakes and, oh, my Lord, we've seen a snake boom out here. Like, on the property, we've seen probably 20 or 30 already this season. And they're not small. There's some small tackers getting around, don't get me wrong.
Well,
Dad had to chase one out of his bloody workshop the other day. He was working on a ute and a bloody snake came in. Only a tiny one, only about a foot long. But had to chase him out. But it
Yes.
has not slowed down the snakes, has not
No.
slowed down the cod. If not, I wouldn't say it's made them better, but it doesn't seem to have impacted them. But I would love to see the study. I would love to see it. I'd love to see.
It would be good.
Yeah, like how many farmers have put baits out, baiting mice, getting rid of them, which is they're well within their rights, good on them. They're feeding everyone. They're feeding the local community. They need to protect their rights and their property.
Yeah, exactly.
But I would love to see if that bait affects the aquatic community, the aquatic creatures.
And the aftermath of it is, I didn't see any bad negative stuff about it. Like the fish I was
No.
catching were healthier than ever, and
Yeah,
you could tell
100%.
some of these mice. You know when they get that purple dye in their guts? When they
Purple dye?
is it purple or red? When the mice eat this stuff, it's
Yeah.
whatever the shit.
Because
they-
you're talking about the wax blocks. I think it's the wax blocks you're talking about. It's like we use it here.
yeah. Well, there was fish spewing mice up with that in it, and they were healthy as.
Right.
So
Okay.
I don't think it had a big impact. But on the Channel 9, my biggest argument was like, yes, if it doesn't affect the fish,
Yeah.
that's all well and good, let it go. But if it does, it's not so much killing the fish, it's them later dying, getting washed down, creating a blackwater event, going back into
that's
a big
again-
circle.
That's right. And like, fuck.
You have dead fish, you drag the oxygen down the water.
Water.
It starts to create stagnant dead water. Fish can't live in it. They start struggling to breathe.
Yeah.
It's just a bad, vicious circle.
Yeah. And I don't know if any of our listeners have seen the start of a blackwater event, but the thing that keyed us off, and I remember getting a call from you, and I distinctly remember I was out to breakfast with the missus,
Yeah.
and it was a Saturday at about 10 o'clock. I remembered it fresh in my mind, and you said, we got to go. Yabbies are starting to crawl out of the water. And I said, what the fuck do you mean? He said, yabbies are crawling out of the water. And you know what that means? I said, low oxygen.
Yep.
Black water was flowing through. So as soon as you see yabbies and shrimp jumping on the banks,
Yeah, shrimp are your first sign, yabbies are next.
that means there's shit coming.
Yeah, definitely.
Because they're going to be the only ones that get out of the water first. And I think catfish are followed close behind.
Yeah, I think catfish, it really impacts them, eh?
I reckon it's because they haven't got the scales.
Yeah, it could be. I have no idea.
That is a fucking total guess. I'm not a biologist or anything.
Yeah.
Or an environmentalist. I love the environment. But I reckon it's, shrimp, yabbies, and then your catfish. And then after that, probably carp are next, I reckon.
Yeah, yep.
I've seen, that may be because there's a ton more of them in the ecosystem than the other fish, but you see catfish and carp popping up after those yabbies and shrimp, you're in for a bad time.
You're dead right.
Yeah. But what can we do? What can we do? Do you know what causes a blackwater event?
As much as I've looked into it and stuff like that, there's so many different things that I've seen cause it. But a lot of it's to do with when you get real flash flooding.
Yeah, but it's after.
Then
It's like
it's-
after a drought or something, isn't it?
Yeah, so
Like
everyone...
after the land's dry and then you get a big wet.
Yeah, and a lot of people spray their crops and spray shit to keep their stuff alive.
Yeah.
And once you get this flash flood, it just washes everything in the river.
Your
And
leaf
being a
litter,
chemical-
your car. Well, it also washes your leaf litter.
Yep.
Your dirt on top of the water. Yeah, all your chemicals.
Anything that draws that oxygen out of the water.
Yeah, that's right. It washes everything in, and that's what just saps the oxygen out, and then
Yeah.
they're buggered.
Yeah, that's right. It's no good at all. And
Yeah.
that's why they... Remember when they dragged a lot of the willow trees out because they take so much water out of the river?
Yeah.
I remember that being a good and a bad thing as well because it was such a good home for a lot of fish.
It is a good home, and the other thing I've often wondered about willow trees is because they have so many branches in the water in a flow, and they break up the water, they've got to be entering oxygen back into the water as well.
Every day of the week.
Yeah. So you think about it, like taking those willows out, as much as they are a pest and they're a shit thing to have in the water.
Yeah, they're not good for the banks and
No.
the water, but
I don't know. I'm in two minds about it because you think about willow
it's
trees.
It's a shit
Yeah,
subject.
it is.
though.
It's
You're
a
like-
fucking shit
Yeah,
subject.
yeah.
But you think about willow trees and you're like, the introduced species, they shouldn't fucking be there. They don't belong there. But then they are holding the bank together.
That's right.
Like you get cattle on a bank with willow trees and they don't break it up as much.
Yeah.
That's a big thing as well. Like cattle on banks, man, that drives me fucking wild. And what I mean by that is like, I know they have a right to be there. The farmers have a right to water the cattle on the river, but they crush all the vegetation on the edge of the river. They crush all the edge of the banks, and that gets sucked straight back into the river. And then next time you get a flood, it gets wiped out because it's so loose from all the hoof traffic.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's one of those 6 one way, half a dozen the other. I mean, cattle need water. Everyone loves eating steak. I fucking do. I don't know about you. And the farmers deserve a right to have the cattle there. But on the other side of things, if they're not treated right and the riverbank isn't treated right, it makes it 10 times worse. Because you have all this loose stuff on top that gets washed down with rising water levels that creates black water.
Yeah.
And that's just my opinion. I don't fucking know if that's true, but it just seems to make sense in my mind. But going back to willow trees, they're a prick of a thing. Yellers love them. Some cod love them too.
Yeah.
And it's like, even if you got rid of the willow trees now, what do you replace it with?
Yeah. Well, that
What
comes back to re-snagging.
Yeah, but what holds the bank together?
Nothing.
If we take out willow trees, what vegetation are you putting in their place to hold the riverbanks together?
Nothing.
And yeah, that's it. That's like you haven't got an answer to it. It's like, what can we do? Like, do we take out the willow trees and then we put in native weeds and bushes and shrubs and that sort of stuff to try and hold the bank together to make sure that next time we have a flood, it doesn't rip it apart and change the river system so much more?
Well, I've got two things in my mind right now.
Yeah, hit us with it.
One is about aerators, and one is about the weed. So don't let me forget any of them.
I was going to mention aerators earlier too. I like your thoughts, mate.
I reckon it's not a stupid thing. Like, there's a long distance between weir to weir.
Yeah, which is
they-
also human made.
Exactly right. Which
Except for the natural ones that we love to fish.
yeah, there they go. Like it's one of those things where we probably could help the river a little bit if there was permanent aerators in place. I understand that it costs money and a lot of money, but
Yeah, but they also don't need to be running all year round.
no, that's
I
right.
think just hot weather months when they drop the flows out of the dams and drop the flows in the rivers.
yeah. You got to have it for when it's needed.
Yeah.
Not just a one, oh shit, now we need it, but it's 2 weeks late.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because I thought it was a really good idea, but as well as when you look at the Macquarie, a lot of dams down south, they're cold water rivers.
Yeah, that's right.
You do not deal with weed whatsoever. Fish breed in them.
Yep.
The thing that gets me with the big mighty Macquarie is we had this U-Butte smart idea that let's change the dam wall around and put a curtain in and release the hot water.
Oh,
the
don't
warm
get me
water.
started about that
Shit you to tears.
fucking curtain.
So this
Holy
curtain,
dooly.
millions of dollars it costs to get made and repaired countless of times. It releases the hot water into the warm water. I
Warmer
should say.
water. So at the moment it draws from the bottom of the dam, which is cold.
Yeah, and it is a very
Cold as a witch's fucking tit.
yeah. And I understand that the cod are going to breed better with the warmer water, which is totally understandable. But holy shit, was that a mistake? To me, it was the biggest mistake they done because yes, it was good for the cod, but it nearly choked the river with weed. Like absolutely from Wellington to the other side of Dubbo was just absolutely monstered with weed and all that duckweed and fucking shit like that. Yes, it made it hard to fish, which fucking pissed me off. But
Well, that's right. Are you saying that from a fisherman's point of view or an environmental point of view?
no, this is going back to oxygen. Because what draws the oxygen out of the water? Weed.
Yeah, because all plants use oxygen to make. No, they use carbon dioxide overnight, photosynthesize into oxygen.
Weed.
Yeah, 100%. All plants, through photosynthesis, and this is what I'm going back to me year 10 biology fucking
Photosynthesis.
classes.
That was the biggest word I learned in high school.
Yeah, well, they use the sunlight and oxygen, carbon dioxide to make oxygen. So technically, it should be making more oxygen in the water, shouldn't it?
I could understand that with the wispy, like actual ones that grow vertical.
Yeah.
But when it's duckweed and it's blanketed over the top, I just can't see how it could happen.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. It could be totally wrong. Going
These are
back to
two
me.
blokes that have no idea about environmental factors talking shit, but
We ain't fucking scientists, mate.
no. And I would love anyone who wants to talk, like ring us up and educate us about this. I would love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I personally thought that the duckweed just choked it, and nothing got sunlight underneath it because it was so shit and thick.
Yeah. No, you're right. But what needs sunlight in the water other than the plants?
What needs sunlight?
Yeah.
It's just water temperature.
So you reckon it's reducing water temperature,
Oh, 100%.
which should be better for the cod if you want to go down that road.
Yeah, but if they didn't have the curtain, there'd be no weed and the fucking thing would be cold anyway. So that's the part that fucks with my head.
You're right. Yeah,
counteracting with something else that's not going to...
Yeah,
It's
and
pretty much going to end up in the same boat.
that's coming back to the biggest thing about the environment is it's such a delicate thing.
Yeah.
And we have messed, as a human population, we
we've
have
fucked it.
messed with it so much. Like
Yeah.
damming waters and then trying to bring back environmental flows and then introducing curtains before the dams to make the environmental flows better.
Yeah.
It's just like,
I understand that we're trying and we're getting it right and we're nailing fish care. We need to nail the water. Like, we need to look after the water.
Yeah.
Barrendong is supposed to supply every western town from here for 20 years. They drained it from 140% to less than 3% in 5 years.
yeah, that's
That's not good
right.
water management.
And again, it's like you don't understand what's going in behind all that. It's
We could go in and learn about this and go, fuck,
we
that's
should.
what he's
Yeah,
doing.
we really should go in and learn about this and go and pass it on. It's because we don't really know. But what we see, like recently, especially in the quarry, over winter they dump 2 to 3 meg a day.
Easy.
2 to 3 megalitres a
easy.
day.
Yep.
And from what we understand, it's for environmental flows for the water nesting birds out in the Macquarie marshes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know my thought on that. Oh, I
Yeah.
can stir some shit there.
But it's, like you go to the Macquarie marshes, what happens to that water?
Absolutely nothing. It
Evaporate.
goes stagnant.
It goes stagnant,
evaporates.
evaporates out there. But is that what that's what probably the birds need to nest in spring? But is that the right thing for the whole environment as a whole to happen?
Yeah. Well, see, to me, fish need water to live. Birds need water to live.
Yeah.
Fish can't get out of the river to find new water. Birds can fucking fly and they can find new water. That's the reason why I'm like so against the marshes. Like, I understand it.
You can't be against the marshes. It's a
shouldn't say-
beautiful spot.
I shouldn't say I'm against them. I'm against the releases for it. Like, as
Yeah,
in,
okay.
I understand environmental flows, but when you go back and have a look at the Barrendong releases, it was nearly 70% of that 140% was environmental flow.
Really?
100%. And when
100%, not
100%. And when they
Don't take my catchphrase, cunt.
And like when we started running out of water for Dubbo, Warren, Narromine, stuff like
Yeah.
that, it was sad to see because the water was actually already sold. So the farmers and all that.
Is that hearsay
irrigation-
though, or is that something you know?
No, this is me when I looked at why the fuck the dam went from 140 to fuck all.
Fuck all.
I just blew my mind. Like,
Yeah.
And so I looked in all this and found the environmental flows. And to be honest, I didn't even know environmental flow was a thing until I looked into this.
Yeah.
And the poor farmers, they buy this water to
Yeah, because
do
they
their
own,
crops
they
and-
pretty much own a percentage of the dam at
Yep.
any one point.
and they've got the right to do it. They run
Yeah.
the country.
That's right.
But when they've done all these environmental flows, we've ran out of water and the poor bastards couldn't get the water they paid for.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
that shit
Yeah.
me. I'm like, well, you've already sold this water to these poor farmers and irrigators and stuff like
Yeah.
that. You've let it all go for an environmental flow, and now the country's gone in a drought, or the state's gone in a drought,
Drought. Yeah.
and you're trying to sell water you don't have.
Yeah.
It was a big
it's such a-
I don't mean to get into politics and shit, but it just
It's
yeah.
such a hard topic to talk about because we don't know 100% everything about
No.
why and how and everything. But I remember going to Burrendong and fishing it at 0.6%.
Yep, you had to launch off the bottom of the boat ramp in the mud.
Yep, I remember some blokes going to the boat ramp and you went off the end of the boat ramp and some blokes would go to launch it and go, fuck that, I'm not even bothering. Me and Jared did several times. We put the tinny out, but I remember walking out into the mud and the silt on the bottom of that dam up to thigh high.
Yep.
Jared had to pretty much grab me out of this mud and thick and shit and silt into the boat for us to go fishing.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, the fishing when it got low was unreal.
Oh shit, yeah, it is.
Yeah, unbloody real. The first day we went fishing, it was like 1% or something like that. Launched out, tinny, 2D, fucking sonar, fucking nothing special about this boat. We weren't even shaking grubs up vertically on the trees. And there was trees out of the water you've never, ever seen before and probably won't see fucking sunlight for the next 5 years.
Oh, it depends.
We'll see how the water flows go.
Yeah.
But first tree, we pulled up. He rolled this grub up it. Bang, 54. Fuck, this is a pretty good day straight off the bat. Next fish, 56. Next fish, 58. Then we found a row of trees along the old riverbed. 60, 62, 61, high 50s. They were so concentrated in that such shallow water. It was unreal. And everything went back. Everything went back healthy. Thank fuck. But I can imagine people going out there and taking their fill. Oh, that'd do some damage.
Oh yeah, yeah, well and truly. But like you got to understand too is Burrendong even at 1% is still a fuck ton of water.
Oh, huge.
But
And it takes you longer to travel everywhere. Even though there's less water, it takes you way
does,
longer
yeah.
to travel everywhere.
the amount of snaking you do on yourself
Yeah.
just to get up a river
Yeah.
is insane. Like we were talking not long ago, Burrendong to Muckawa right now is a 15-minute run in the Nitro.
Yeah.
Back then, it was
40 minutes?
Yeah, well and truly. You had to
Easy.
zigzag your way to Oakey Creek, had a sharp 90-degree angle, zigzag your
Yeah.
way to Muckawa, and choose a long trip.
Yeah. Actually, thinking about it right now, I think that when dams get to low percentages, they should probably call off not all fishing, but keeping.
Yeah,
Like same amount of fish. They're not going to go over the wall at that point, and they definitely can't go upriver. So it's the same amount of fish in less amount of water.
they're all congregated,
Yeah.
all in the same area, which makes it a lot easier for the fishermen.
Oh, heaps easier. But I reckon once it gets to a low percentage, maybe they should call off all catch and keep. Catch and release, that's still a bit of a iffy topic, especially when it's that low, especially under 1% in such a big dam as Burrendong. But catch and keep, oh my lord, it just makes it.
Yeah, I can understand that. Look, I've had plenty of days there where you get 80 to 100 fish in a session when it's low,
Yeah,
and you don't move.
no, that's right. So it's like,
But
that'll
fuck,
just...
it's fun.
Oh, it's so much fun, but geez, it'll deplete him. Like, you catch and keep fishermen, go for gold.
Yeah,
I don't give a shit.
If you need
But,
to feed, keep them.
yeah,
That's
for
what
sure.
you pay your fees for.
Yeah, we don't do that often, but if it's that easy fishing, maybe think about it a bit more. People are like, hey, these bigger fish actually need to go back to breed.
Well, let's
Keep
hope.
the stocks up.
Fingers crossed and everything goes good. We don't ever get that low again.
I bloody hope so. Anyway, well, we're going to change from such a depressing topic and start talk about something a bit more enthusiastic. So, as some of you anglers know, over the last couple of years, there's been a thing called the Macquarie Megabucks, which is a great fishing comp to enter. So, pretty much what it was Outback Angler, Loomsy's Fish and Fix, and who was the third sponsor? Aaron, help me out here.
Oh, back then it wasn't us, nah.
Wasn't it? You didn't start it. You guys didn't.
Nah, so when it was Macquarie River Megabucks,
Yep.
it was IWRA. It was all run by IWRA.
Yep.
And this year, the tackle stores jumped on board.
Gotcha. Sorry, my mistake.
You get that?
Yeah. So you guys are now putting in money this year. Did you put it in last year for the?
No, it didn't. It hasn't run since 2019. Back when
that's right.
Link and I got topped.
Yeah. So if you listen to the losing $10,000 story from Lincoln McBroom in the last episode, you'll understand what the Macquarie Megabucks is.
Yes. Yeah. So we've all jumped on board this year. Loomsy's Fish and Fix, Outback Angler, and Mulwala Fish and Ski. Big Tony Bennett down there. So
yep, and it's turned from just the Macquarie Megabucks into Murray Cod Megabucks.
let's go.
So statewide.
Yeah, statewide. Every tackle store's got their region.
Yeah, which means for all you lucky Victorian anglers, I think down there, who have to have a New South Wales license to fit mull. Is that correct?
I don't know. It's a grey area to me.
Because I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure Murray River and Mull are New South Wales, but Hume is Victorian.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I think that's the way it works.
Actually, I'll tell you a funny story. First time I fished fucking Mulwala, I went and bought a Victorian license just in case I fished the other side. I shit you not. I didn't want to get caught. I was like,
fuck no.
If I don't want to fish the New South Wales side the whole day. Fuck.
Go the other
I
side
got
as
online
well.
and bought a Victorian one just in case.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I was probably 18, 19, I went down to Albury to buy this bass guitar. Being a musician I am, found a bass guitar a mate was selling. I went, shit, that looks all right. I'll meet you in Albury and I'll buy this bass guitar. Knowing me, I packed a couple of rods, went to Lake Hume. Do you know how hard it is to fish from the New South Wales side? Fucking dumb. I was
Lake Hume.
Yeah, Lake Hume. I was like, I cannot fish it from this side. This is too hard. Crossed the border and then went, shit, I need a Victorian license. Found a little servo. Can I get a Victorian license? Yep, here you go, darling. There we go. Got on that side. So much easier to fish. Holy shit. So I think that's why Hume is a Victorian dam, whereas Mull and I think it's still technically the Murray is a New South Wales fishing license.
Yeah.
Could be wrong. Correct me. Don't give a fuck. Whatever.
Yeah.
But it is nationwide, so Victorian anglers that can get to Mull and fish that with a New South Wales license, I'm pretty sure you can be in it to win it too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah. So Lake Mulwala's got the Southern Division, and then Loomsy's got like the Lachlan Catchment Wangler,
Yep.
and Outback Angler has Macquarie
Barndong,
Basin. So you can pretty much say Barndong, Macquarie.
Windy. Yep.
Yeah, so that'll be good. It's 10 grand. 10
Winner.
grand.
Biggest fish by Cod Close.
Yep.
How fucking good is that?
She's a big fish.
Yeah.
It will be a big fish.
Yeah. How confident are you, mate?
Oh, mate, I'll
Give it a red hot.
wrestle some feathers, mate. I know what's coming. I can really see the good out of this. It's
Yeah.
getting people fishing, getting involved. But you don't have to come first. There's also second place is $3,000.
Yeah.
Third place is $2,000.
$2,000. And a
Angle
mystery prizes.
fridges.
Yeah, there's 6 angle fridges. 9. 40 litre.
Ooh, don't quote me. 6 or
Shit,
9.
I thought it was 6, but whatever. 40 litre angle fridges.
Yep.
Were they? Yeah. You had one dropped off to the store the other day. Looks fucking fantastic.
Yeah, it'd be good on Mokamo yet. Yeah, so these are, I'm pretty sure they're all mystery length. So
Yeah, mystery length prizes. So even if you're not catching the meteries, you're getting some good length fish, just fucking put them in.
Yeah.
As long as they're legal. Make sure they're fucking legal.
Yeah, so it's an event getting all the local tackle stores involved with all the communities and try and get this thing up and running, get a few legs. So if you want to register in this, Facebook page, Murray Cod Megabucks.
Yep.
It's got the link in there to
1,
sign
2,
up.
3 ticks, I'm pretty sure is the vendor.
Yep.
For the tickets.
$20.
Let's go. $20, and if you catch the biggest fish, you win 10 grand. Fucking.
And you could win an angle fridge with a 56 centimetre. It's got to
That's
be
right.
legal.
Got to be could be 55, could be 56. You know, you're going to win that mystery prize.
That's right.
So, well worth your entry fee, I say.
Yeah.
Hey, bloody oath. Well, you got any interesting... Now we're talking about cod fishing, like our favourite time
Let's
of year.
go.
You got any funny times?
Oh, Dane, did I tell you today?
What?
It's Cod Opening. And we're doing a fucking podcast.
We are doing a fucking podcast on cod opening instead of fucking fishing.
Disappointed.
Here we are.
I
Anyway,
reckon it would have been better if we just got all the gear and just fished and turned the mics on. Imagine the
we
shit
might have to
talk.
do that.
Oh, dear.
Out in the boat, you and me just chatting shit, fucking calling each other out for stuff.
Oh, that'd be so bad.
Oh, it'd be fucking terrible, but funny to listen to.
Oh, you'd piss your pants. It'd be red hot. Fuck me, Dane. That's a tree, not a fish.
And as some of you might remember, this is how the whole fucking thing started. Me and Az talking shit in the boat and go, hey, we should record this shit.
Yeah.
But,
And what a blessing that's been.
oh, mate, I've loved it every second, and I'm so fucking proud of this community helping us out, especially with the mental health lure board stuff, giving us a listen. And we really should like post up about some of the milestones already. Like we've already cracked about 7,000 listens on this podcast, and it's been less than 5 months.
5 months.
Yeah, fucking so proud, so fucking proud.
And we've raised, well,
$3,000
at the moment, 3.
As of tonight, we have raised fucking $3,000.
And we're
for
closing in
mental
at
health.
4, really. So,
Let's go.
yeah, how good's that?
Yeah. Anyway, going back onto some surprising catches you've had over the years about cod fishing. Have you had anything that's really knocked your socks off? They'd be like, fuck, bet I couldn't do that again.
Oh, 100%. I swapped a cod on a lure. Have I told you about that?
You swapped a cod on lure.
I swapped a cod, but except I downgraded.
What do you mean you swapped a cod? You're like, oh, fuck, I don't want him. Oh, give me that one. Smaller
Amen.
one. Yeah, fuck yeah.
So I reckon he was maybe mid-70s fish. And as he came to the top of the water, there was another one trying to grab the lure out of his mouth. And I couldn't see how big he was.
Yeah.
And I let
You
him
just saw the
swim
fucking
down a
head
bit.
coming up.
And as I lifted, I felt more weight. Got them both to the top. The original fish I had was probably 10, 15 centimetres bigger. And the little ones grabbed the other treble and shook the big one off. So I ended up with the little one. I was like, and that was one of them ones of like, I bet I couldn't do that again.
I'll go you one better.
Let's go.
I will go you one better. So I went fishing out with my mate. Brandon, he hasn't done a great deal of fishing, but we went down to the end of the road here to the local reserve.
Yeah.
Anyway, I remember fishing away, camp chairs, getting a few yellows, a few cod, whatever, a couple of cutties, chucking them all back. Anyway, towards the end of the day, ran out of fucking worms, didn't we? Went, fuck. I got the last worm, chucked him on, chucked him in the river. He's like, you know what, fuck it. We had a few beers by this point. He's like, fuck it. I'll chuck a bare hook back in there. He snagged a fucking cod on a bare hook.
Wow.
And I had a worm right next to it, maybe less than a fucking couple of meters away from it. And he snagged this cod on a fucking bare hook.
You'd think it'd have to stink or something, eh?
Maybe it was the bait from the rest of the day or whatever the fuck it was, but he caught this cod on a fucking bare hook. And Nonetheless, we caught it for a fucking trout cod.
Wow.
This thing was maybe 15 centimeters long. Maybe. It was tiny. Fucking tiny. But it had the overhung top lip. It had the less spots along the side, narrow head. But because it was so juvenile, I was like, I can't call it, but fuck, it looks like one. So, not to one up you.
No, well, I can get close. I can get very close.
Can you go again?
I can go again.
Go on, let's go.
This was well, there's two. I remember this is going a fair while back, fishing with Corey and Uncle Russ. I remember saying to Corey, boarders bat shit in the boat, and you just say random shit. And I said, you ever caught a cod with like a hook through top and bottom jaw? Like something you'd never say unless you're fishing because you're bored. And lo and behold, I shit you not.
We've talked about this with Link anyway. Keep going.
It was hooked. The next fish he landed had the hook underneath its jaw.
What, bait hook?
Bait hook, yeah.
So a single treb?
Yes, no, yeah, single hook, like we'll bait fishing.
Yeah, single hook, not a fucking treb.
And he said, you wouldn't believe it. And he showed me. I was like, oh my God. Like, that is next level. And I reckon it was maybe a year or two later, we'll bait fishing. We actually walked down from the property they had.
Yeah.
And same thing like you, and just bait fished off a couple of logs. And I got a bite and struck and had weight and whatnot.
Yeah.
Got it up the top, and here's me yabby 2 foot above the cod on a hook, and he's flipping and carrying on top of the water. I said, what the fuck is going on here? Like, I always used to run paternoster.
Yeah, so you got the sinker below your hook.
Yep. Used to let it flap in the current. That was the way I got taught. And we launched this fish up onto the bank, and it had eaten the sinker, and the sinker weight was pushing on its gills, so it closed its gills, and the sinker was outside its gills, so it wouldn't let the sinker come back through. I shit you not.
Oh, fuck.
So I caught a cod on a sinker.
Wow.
Yeah.
What?
And you, like, you know when you touch their gills and they just tense
Tense
up.
up.
They don't.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Protecting
So it's ran through. It's gone through his
He's
gills,
sucked in.
and he's felt pressure there. So he's
Tensed up a
closed
bit.
them. Yeah.
All right, I got another story along these lines, and I took my brother-in-law out fishing. Bottom of the property, just chucking out worms. I think we were on, a running sinker and a hook. Anyway, end of the day, hadn't caught jack shit. And we were like, right, let's pack up. And he's like, oh, I've got weight on the end of this. I went, do you? Yeah. I was like, he's caught a fucking stick or something. Anyway, he's starting to reel it in. I can see something white flashing in the water. I'm like, what the fuck is that? He'd caught a freshwater... Do you call them a freshwater mussel?
Yeah, mussels.
Yeah, he caught a freshwater mussel on a worm.
Yeah, I've seen that quite a few times, eh?
That's the first time I ever seen it. The last time I ever seen it too.
Yeah, I've seen it quite a few, eh? Yeah. You definitely... And, like, I've heard plenty of stories of it happening.
Yeah. I was like, what the frick? I thought they were like, on filters. River filters, pretty much. They suck in dirty water and spit out clean shit.
Yeah, no, they'll...
But apparently they eat worms every now and then.
Yep.
And, pro tip for anyone keeps fish in a tank, like I do, stick some fucking freshwater mussels in there and they'll filter your tank better than your filter will.
Yeah, there you go.
Legit.
Yep.
Legit. If you stick a couple in the bottom of the tank, they'll sit down. I don't know what you fucking feed them. Maybe
algae.
a bit of... Yeah, like you can buy algae pellets. Like if you ever keep bristlenose or any sort of catfish in your tanks, you can chuck algae pellets in.
Yeah, right.
I'm pretty sure that's the sort of thing they'll eat. You chuck a couple of algae pellets in, they'll suck them up and filter them out, and away you go.
Yeah.
But if you stick them in your tank, they'll filter that thing so clean.
There you go.
Unreal. Well, mate, we are going to do a rigging Q&A the night before this is released. So stay tuned for that, and the video will definitely be up on our Facebook. But what lures are you chucking this year?
There's one answer.
One answer.
Slick back.
One answer, one only.
Nah, definitely use their slick back, mate.
They look sick.
100 mil, 40 gram, dive to 5 meters, perfect.
Yeah. Now, I know you've had a little bit of look at them before at after and all that sort of stuff. Have you seen them swim yet?
I got a taste of a few samples just before Cod close.
Yeah.
And I think I got 3 trips in before Cod close.
Lovely.
It was quite nice, actually. Done very well on them, eh?
Yeah.
Very well.
Cast like a bullet.
Yeah, really good bullets.
Yeah. How's the crash drive on them? You adding sticky weights to the front or anything like that? Or
I didn't then. I'm waiting till...
you're thinking about doing it?
Yeah, I'm going to try it just to see how it goes. They do crash dive very well. Don't get me wrong. But
as good as a chainsaw?
yeah, probably on par. Yep.
How good is that? And if anyone knows this, I love a chainsaw for a crash dive. Geez, those things dive sharp.
They do. Yep.
And cast like a bullet.
Yeah, no, I was pretty happy.
So
with them,
slickback's pretty much on point to those sort of chainsaw market, but a bit bigger profile.
which is what you want.
100%.
Yeah.
Love that bigger profile.
Great profile. I love 100 mils me mark in the river, as anyone
Same.
said.
As we've said before, I do not chuck anything under 100 mil for cod season.
No, you'll still catch 25 centimetre cod on them.
Yep, 25 and less. As I've said before, I reckon cod will eat half their length. I've seen fish in the fish tank eat shit half their length, and that's why I chuck 100 mil and plus, because you're not necessarily going to filter out the smaller fish, but a little bit.
Yeah.
Just that little touch that makes it a bit bigger.
Yeah, so that's definitely going to be me number one arsenal to kick off the season.
And that's just in the river.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm really going to focus on the river this year. I've set myself
You and me
a goal.
both. You and me both. Yep.
I want to get 2 over a metre, but I want to get 1 over a metre 10. That's my goal.
In the river.
Yeah. And
Bless you.
I'm pretty confident.
He's confident.
I'm confident going in this year.
Well, you have had the one meter during close season take a yellow belly.
Yeah.
So you've seen it.
Yeah, I've already seen one out of season.
But on the nest, they're probably a bit hungrier than normal.
Yeah. That's why you got to hit them hard, hit them quick. As soon as that 1st December comes, mate,
Get into them.
oh, chupapi. Get one nice and early.
Yeah.
Then I've got 9 months to get the next one.
My goals for the river this year is to break PB again.
Yeah.
I'd love to get something in the 90s at least.
Yeah.
Everyone love to break the metery. I would love to break a meter. But I'm definitely going to do a shit ton of river fishing. My goal is to fish once a week at least.
Yeah.
Especially in the river. And because it's so close and local, going to hit the river at least once a week. That's my goal. But I am still going to try and hit the dams proper, do a proper session at least once a month.
Yeah.
Once a month,
I'll
once
probably
every
hit the
5,
dams
6
once
weeks.
we cold, like we do them cold winter trips. But
Nah, not me, bud. I still want to do a trip to the dam, do a real big trip to the dam at least once a month, once every 4 or 6 weeks.
I just love me river too much. Oh.
It is, and that's what I'm trying to supplement myself with, like once a week in the river, and then every 5, 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, whatever. Hit the dams
dam run.
hard, because I have been so excited over the winter trips that we've done to dams. I'm just like, if they're still going to play ball in summer months, god damn, one of those fish have got to bite, surely.
I want to go back to this episode and listen to this next question.
Go on.
When you catch a meter cod out of a dam and you catch a meter cod out of the river, you're going to tell me both stories and tell me which one fucking went harder. I'd love to hear it. And we replay this bit and go, fuck, you were right.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. They're totally different fish. I think the river fish are definitely more conditioned.
Oh, yeah.
You definitely got to get a harder fight, bigger fight. You got to angle them, like be a proper angler and like work your points. Make sure where you've caught them, get them out of flow, get them out of sticks, get them out of that. Like in dam fishing, I know you're still fishing structure, but if you catch them, back the boat out into the middle of the river, slack the drag off. I mean,
Yeah, Bob's your uncle.
yeah, but you can still run to the same sort of positions in dam fishing.
Oh, I've still had plenty of meters play up in the dam. Like, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
they still fight like hell. But
Yeah,
there's just something about that river meter and trying to stop him in the first 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god.
I mean, it's that slightly harder thing too in rivers. It's like that big meter fish out of the river, especially skinny water like the Macquarie can get.
yeah,
It feels. I don't want to take away from it, but it feels a little bit more special.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
And like, I don't care where it comes from. I fucking love it either way.
Yeah, that's it. A meter cod's a meter cod.
Yeah. But so you'll be chucking slickbacks in the river and a few other divers, mumblers and that sort of stuff. Like, you've got
I started last season.
You got a big soft spot for bassmen and mumblers,
Oh yeah,
as I do too. I love those things.
they are freaks.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're really well. I started last season off with the mumblers, and yeah, I had a fat time because I remember throwing hard bodies for 4 or 5 hours. Went to a chatterbait and banged 3 in 10 minutes. And I was like, well, there you go.
Well, last year we started off with the chainsaw divers that just come out.
Yeah.
And they fucking went dynamite. And then after that sort of bite slacked off, went to mumblers and then sort of swapped in between. And yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
But in the dams, what are you chucking?
Dan, I'd love to really tick off a surface meter in the dams this year.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like definitely want to focus on that. Whether I've got to go south, I don't give a shit where I go. But if I hear they're biting on surface, I'll be going for sure.
I've heard why angler has been pretty good for surface fish.
Yeah, Angler can be good. Copeton is hit and miss, but if you nail it, I can do them real well.
Copeton is the home of broken dreams and trophies.
Oh yeah,
From what I've heard.
yeah, I've missed fish at Windermere on surface. So there's a few opportunities, but everything I've fished with surface has been winter.
Yeah,
for
true.
dams.
Same. I haven't done much surface summer fishing, but it seems like the place kind of feels like the place to go in summer as well. Because like you got the lizards on top, you got the big moths, you got bug activity, all that sort of stuff. It's like, yeah, during summer, fuck yeah, let's go.
And you turn the surface into a vibrating lure because you shiver so hard. So.
In winter. Bloody oath. Oh, well, on that point, we might as well cut it off there, eh?
Wind her up.
Wind her up, let her go. So, good luck to all you cod anglers out there for the cod opening. Hope you're listening to this out on the water and you're getting into a few.
Let's go. Get right into them.
Let's fucking go.
Turn some handles, grind some hours, get these fish in.
Righto, boys. Talk to you later.
See you, lads.